deep in the forest, in a place where no mortal government lay claim to, a simple tavern stood. Though to call it a tavern was a disservice to any respectable establishment, for this one lacked many things that would normally be expected if one were to join such an organization. Among other things that it missed, 4 walls, a fully stocked kitchen, and separate cooking areas. Instead, the roof was propped up by rough wooden sticks, many of which looked half-rotten. Each were lashed to another, the wooden and rush-laden roof angled to see off the persistent rains. Wooden tables, some half-rotten, others propped up on wooden barrels and formed from discarded planks, crisscrossed the dry land beneath the roof. Benches, crudely made, offered seats for customers, though this day only a single pair graced the ill-kept tavern with their presence. As for the owner himself, he stood beside simmering vats of food where intestines, stomach, kidney, and other innards lay, slowly broken down. Trim as a needle, arms the size of most individuals' thighs, he worked unceasingly on the carcass of a wild demon boar, his mighty cleaver separating muscle and bone with the grace of an imperial dancer. It sought the gaps between bones, skimmed the tops of flesh to separate edible meat from skeletal architecture, all of which were placed in separate, filled bins. Bones for brewing to make stock. It would take days on a slow simmer, the bones themselves losing their very structure. Water from the nearby spring would be added to give it body and replace what was lost from steam and use. Intestines to be cleaned and washed and then cleaned again, till every ounce of innards were removed before it was set to boiling. Small intestines in one vat, large another, all sliced into equal portions, white and black wild peppers added to the mix, chilies, and a healthy dosing of rock salt. Wine and spirit sloshed into the pot to give it depth, while its body came from the brewing bones. Stomach to be cleaned as well before its ends wrapped tight. Small pieces of meat from the edging between ribs and along the ends of bones slid into one end. Salt, cinnamon, and peppers, mountain herbs, and a quick and measured sloshing of bone stock, all added. Lava rock heated in open flame till they were glowing hot before they were slipped into the clay oven beneath the mixture, left to cook and mix together, juices separating. Ears cut off and shaved of meat, sliced into thin strips and piled together with other portions, ready for a quick deep fry, a crispy, tasty treat. Pork belly, skin still on, its top sliced thinly and rubbed down with salt, lay hanging, air-drying, while the salt and herbs rubbed into its flesh, soaked within. Later it would be cooked in the ovens after being wiped down, its skin crisping, the flesh bubbling. Liver, tossed into a mixture of goat milk and wine, lay soaking. A simple dish later on, sliced liver, fresh vegetables, and onions. The healthy iron taste soaked into the milk itself, which would be reused to make a dessert later on. Not 1 inch of the spirit boar would be left to waste. Each portion, from tail to nose, would be made use of. The butcher, the tavern keeper, worked with the focused dedication of a craftsman, and his 2 guests ate with the appreciation only century-old foodies could offer. The pair of diners could not have been more different. One, an elegant scholar in light green robes and navy blue trimming, his long hair bundled up high and affixed with hairpins and a small cap, sat back straight, head held upright, arms positioned by his side. Every movement was a refined dance, a dance of elegance, as he supped on the meal before him, dark eyes twinkling in enjoyment. His companion, a full-horned demon with a big, bushy beard, its horns curling around the long ears that jutted from near the top of his head. The demon sat with one leg raised on the bench, arm on the same side resting on the raised foot and holding a bowl of rice. In the other hand, a pair of crude wooden chopsticks waved around, a piece of meat speared on them. "Then, I said, it's a dog, you fool," the demon said, its voice deep and gravelly. He threw his head back and laughed out loud at the culmination of his own joke. The refined gentleman snorted in amusement. "Good joke. So, did they let the dog stay?"